Reading and writing, simple yet magical acts containing a wellspring of human wisdom, allowing us to explore the world, understand ourselves and connect with others. Through reading and writing books, we can converse with thinkers of the past, learn about diverse cultures and gain profound insights. In our age of information overload, taking time to read and write is a precious commodity, helping us step away from the noise, engaging in deep thought and wisdom. Let us read and write books, fiction or non-fiction, for even fiction is grounded in reality. You can only write about what you know and hide it in a story about a scorpion and a turtle. Feel the power of the imagination and unlock infinite possibilities. So where to begin? Though we like to spruce up our writing with description words and hyper-actions like the hot sun burns brightly, we already know the sun is hot and bright. The most direct way to convey the information is to simply say the sun burns. This is an example of a simple sentence, the rest is open to interpretation. No trying to outwit and become poetic, just a subject followed by an action. Description and hyper-actions should be used sparingly and usually for dramatic effect to portray a change in shape or form. The hot sun became cold, perhaps something to do with your story about how the sun froze over. A true literary mind knows a dog barks. A wolf howls. A cat meows. A lion roars. A bird swoops. Rockets soar. Fish flip-flop. Submarines dive. Humans swim. You could write a dog howls, but in retrospect a dog merely barks. His bark is louder than his bite. A dog barks and bites. A wolf howls and gnaws. Choosing proper subject-action couplets in the telling of your story is key to keeping your audience captivated. Some will argue, religion aside, the Bible is the GOAT, the greatest piece of literature ever written. There are a lot of theories on who wrote it all those years ago, and who transcribed it into English 1500 years later. But here at Pseudo History, we believe Germanicus, the Roman general during the time of Christ, wrote the Old Testament, and his son Caligula, who became emperor after the crucifixion, wrote the New Testament. As for the man who transcribed the Bible 1500 years later, Shakespeare himself under the Gutenberg Project, was the first to attempt it. Arguments aside, we at Pseudo History compare and contrast Old King James with New Roman Catholic, looking for differences in punctuation and grammar, in a bid to understand the true narrative, to indeed see if we are all on the same page. Though some may argue we should learn Hebrew, we do have some faith the educational system works, that the versions transcribed into English have survived a gauntlet of certified English scholars, who somewhat agree on the interpretation, with subtle grammatical variation. This may seem trivial, but you don't have to change a single word in a manuscript to change the narrative. All you have to do is add or remove a few commas, change capital letters to lowercase and vice versa. Though there are many versions to compare and contrast, can you spot the two differences in the first stanza? There is one comma displacement, and one syntax error, the capitalization of spirit in Old King James. So what does this mean? A comma separates one thought from another. Here, without form, and void, means the earth had no form, and was incomplete, void of something. Whereas, without form and void, means the earth had no form yet was complete. Without a comma in the sentence, the void is tied to the prefix, without void. As for the Spirit, because of this difference in syntax, it begs us to ask the question, is the Spirit a person, place, thing, or action of God? Let us dig a little deeper, delving into context, subtext, and pretext. Without any preconceived ideology, context is what is the stanza about. Subtext is what feelings are invoked based on word choice. Pretext is what are the possible outcomes. Let us look at the content. The first stanza speaks of a place, in the beginning, but doesn't mention the place, where God, a person, place or thing, created or gave birth to the heavens and the earth, twins, which are actions, a multiple and single action. The earth, without form, was complete or incomplete. As a result, darkness manifested upon something, like say a virus or even something like baby teeth coming in. The first stanza ends with the introduction of the Spirit or Spirit. God creates water to help or worsen the situation. As for in the beginning, if it is indeed a place, it means God was in this place, in the flesh. Already fully manifested. The words void, darkness, deep, and water make up the subtext. All these words point to the emotions. Based on the subtext, it's safe to say, the earth was suffering from some type of premature birth, with water pointing to umbilical fluid connected to the spirit somehow. Here the void would be where emotions come from, separate from the body, they have no form. So knowing all this, what can one deduce? Keep it simple. God created the heavens and earth, born premature. Darkness. Fear. Sadness. Spirit brings water. In simple English, sentence pattern 2 augmented, 3 sentence clauses and 1 simple statement. It is safe to say the earth was missing something to invoke darkness, leaning to Old King James. So what about the Spirit? What can we deduce? Both versions have a solid position. God took action, or the Spirit, separate from God, brought the water. Or perhaps it is a direct statement, meaning the umbilical fluid came from the Spirit making the Spirit God's wife. Or maybe even a coupled sentence, Spirit's water broke, God gave her water to keep her hydrated. Let us really look at the 4 possible narratives. Spirit as person. There are many characters the Spirit could be, including his wife. The main argument here. Did God have a wife? Spirit as place could be a call back to the beginning, the place where God created the heavens and the earth. Spirit as thing. Say a rock. Meaning we literally crawled out from under a rock. Fairly interesting. Hinting at what the evolutionists claim, that we evolved from the ocean. Spirit as action. This too is profound. It means action came before form or the subject. If that were the case, perhaps we are saying English backwards. It's not boy runs, it's run boy. These are all very intriguing narratives. Here we believe God had a wife. Here there is no real difference, only personal flair. Similarities aside, what does the stanza infer? Here light comes after darkness. Pointing to a state of emergency. God was alone in the dark or with the Spirit creating the heavens and the earth, then the lights came on. Or God turned on the lights. If you are really paying attention, God is praying, not giving a command. God was granted his wish from some external force, for why would God have to say anything? Perhaps God had to speak, make the word flesh, but still, God would simply say light, or light manifest. This external being does not have to be a person, but a place, the universe itself say. Another person is also a viable argument. Since there is not enough information, and I'm intrigued, I will be patient with the writer. Perhaps he will fill that in sooner than later. If not, back to the drawing board. Whatever is transpiring, both light and dark were actions that became subjects, day and night. With the use of light and dark several times, God must have been up all night, trying to save a dying earth. You could say the lights flickered. Can you spot the differences? Word choice and the decision to use and over so. Old King James uses the word firmament, New Roman, the word dome. And heaven versus sky. Old King James stresses there are 2 types of waters, that the firmament is not simply a dome. As I pointed out earlier, the types of water could be the embryonic fluid and water for hydration. So what actually separates these 2 types of water? Water comes in 3 forms, liquid, solid or gas. You might gander and say before the creation of the heavens and earth, water only had 2 forms, and changed its nature to include 3, pointing to what they call a trinity. New Roman is saying God created the atmosphere to separate water from space. Perhaps there is no difference, but King James is trying to be more specific by pointing out a component like water once acted in a different way. God just didn't simply create a dome. Firmament is stressing something to do with the foundation, not the sky. As for, and, it means to continue, whereas, so, means to change mode of action. Heaven means the original multiple action, the heavens, Earth's twin, transformed into a subject with the same name. Where New Roman is saying the two are separate. At least that's what one can assume since there is no correlation. Well, that's all for this episode. Hope you became a little more informative and continue to go on this journey with us.